Over in Europe, the great powers have been fighting for almost 3 years now. As the war's gone on, it's got bloodier and bloodier. But things are going to happen early in 1917 which bring the US into the war. Woodrow Wilson goes to the Congress, and on the 6th of April, 1917, the US Congress formally declares war. This brings the United States of America into the center of world affairs. In the Ivy League universities, like Yale in particular, there is really significant enthusiasm and commitment.
Johnny, get your gun, get your gun.
And everybody wanted to, as they said, join up. The large dining hall, which will become the Schwartzman Center, was an assembly point for women to put bandage kits together.
There's a long, long trail a-winding.
One of the songs that has a special Yale meaning is There's a Long, Long Trail a-Windin'. This was actually written by two students, Zoe Elliott and Stoddard King. We found in one of these diaries a great reference to the song, of how this song was sort of keeping him remembering his girlfriend. He says, our favorite, which is symbolizing the hopes that are in so many hearts on this greatest battlefield in history. We sing it under shell fire.
This is a place which is in the lead in American terms of trying to get prepared for the war. We are led by a Yale president, Hadley, who wants to show that Yale men can commit to the war. This is a campus which is from the leadership downwards very much committed to being in on the First World War.
Look out, look out, look out, look out, the Yanks are at it again.
The most exciting part of the war for a lot of Yale undergraduates and new graduates was the air activity in World War I.
The Millionaires Unit was comprised of Yale undergraduates who were tremendously forward-thinking in terms of them realizing that aviation could play a significant role in warfare. They convinced the Navy that it was worthwhile, and so the Navy established the first naval ROTC unit here at Yale.
The US Army, which is a minuscule army, now has to expand, and it hasn't anywhere like the enormous military-industrial complex which the Western Allies have. So it has to get up to snuff. It has to learn how to develop a large-scale artillery arm within the Army, and a lot of that happens at Yale.
They would train in the summer, and the area that Yale concentrated on most was artillery, the big guns.
French Army sends over some of the legendary French 75mm guns for us to practice on here on New Haven Green and maybe in the old campus itself.
There have been a host of other Yaleys who have served in various capacities.
There were roughly 2,500 men who served and about 250 who gave up their lives in World War I.
If you try to look at the backgrounds of the people, you will see that they're coming from very distinguished Yale families, some of whom later on have very, very distinguished careers in the Second World War and into the early Cold War, including a later, Secretary of State and Secretary of War. See, it's quite a record.
A lot of this history and a lot of this military culture that's very much in the fabric of the university. It's inspiring to be able to walk through Woolsey and to see so many names who have made a sacrifice for the country.